This new stuff is covering enhancements to auto cluster selection. It's also referred to as PC scheduler in some circumstances, and this is feat 15477. All right, let's take a look at these enhancements to automatic cluster selection. We'll briefly just review what ACS is. So ACS will allow Prism Central to automatically place workloads on clusters automatically for you. So when you have environment that has several clusters or large amounts, it may be confusing on where those workloads should or could be landed. So Prism Central will make the decision based upon the configuration of the virtual machine as well as the capacity and performance of the underlying clusters. And then it will place that individual VM workload, or if you're creating multiple VMs, then it will place all of them on clusters that they fit on. And they may be on the same cluster, or they could end up on multiple clusters if it was a multiple workload VM that was, or VMs that was being placed. So what are the enhancements? So there are several enhancements to ACS in this release. First is it's now integrated with version 4 of the APIs. This also brings role-based access support. So previously only superadmin could use this. Now anybody that has the appropriate privileges and access to multiple clusters will be able to use ACS. It also now supports the Multicluster Virtual Switch that is being added into Prism Central as part of this release also. So previously the only networks that it supported were VPCs. It still supports those, but now you can use subnets off of a virtual switch managed by Prism Central. And then lastly, it has support for PCIe devices. So if it has a network offload NIC or is using SR-IOV, it will support VMs, placing VMs that have those configurations. Hi, in this demo video, we're going to take a look at automatic cluster selection, where Prism Central will automatically land your workload on a cluster that meets the requirements of the workload. Also load balancing based upon availability and performance. We will demo it with just a single VM creation and then a group of 10 VMs to show you the difference. Let's get started. So we're going to create our single virtual machine example here. We entered our name. We'll select auto cluster selection from the cluster deployment option. You have the option to select a specific cluster, but we wanted to do it automatically. The box shows any limitations that the feature has at this time. As an example, it doesn't support VMs that have GPUs attached to them. We'll attach an image to clone from to create our virtual machine, and then add a network to it. Now, it can use VPC networks because they're available to all clusters controlled by the Prism Central instance, or if you use a PCDVS switch, so a virtual switch that's managed by Prism Central, it can use subnets off of that virtual switch because they can be available to multiple clusters. Now that we've selected our subnet, we can advance through the final steps and then just create our virtual machine. Rather than waiting for this one to create, which just takes a short amount of time, let's get started and create the pack of 10 virtual machines to show you how the process would work with multiple virtual machines so they can be automatically dispersed across the 3 clusters that we have in our example here. So we're going to create a pack of 10 virtual machines, the exact same process of what we used on our single VM example just before this. As we zip through this process, we can see our single virtual machine is already created and it's landed on one of our 3 test clusters. And in just a few moments here, when we refresh, we will see that our 10 virtual machines have been created also. And you can see that they are pretty evenly distributed across our 3 clusters. There are 3 on the first one, about 4 on the next one, and a 4 on the last one, it looks like also roughly. And our single virtual machine is landed on the third cluster also. And from this, you can see a simple example of how a single virtual machine workload and a multi-virtual machine workload would be landed on clusters via automatic cluster selection. Thanks for tuning in. So which versions of software will you need to take advantage of these updates for auto cluster selection? This is a Prism Central feature, so it will require you to upgrade to Prism Central 7.3, but it does not require the latest AOS. So the minimum AOS setting that's needed is version 6.7 and the accompanying AHV release, since that's when ACS was introduced at the AOS and AHV level. Just need the update to Prism Central. Thanks for listening in and learning about the new updates to auto cluster selection with AHV. Thank you.